Ace match. Ace match. Ace match. Ace match. It's gonna be Jaedong versus Bisu on Fortress as our last set. Man, can you think of a better last set in this series? I cannot. The best Zerg versus the best Protoss for a chance to battle the best Terran. Doesn't get much better. I'm like vibrating in my seat right now because of excitement. I'm not sitting on my phone or anything. But come on, we gotta start this game. Go, go, go. 1A, 2A, 3A, go. Flashing lights, everyone in the audience getting a seizure. That must mean awesomeness is on the way. But here we go. This is on Fortress, as I said. I don't think I've seen a lot of Protoss versus Zerg games on Fortress. Teams tend to send out Terran players on this map. Of course, that's not an option since Fantasy is gone. Except over at the 3 o'clock position in blue is Jaedong. That means over at the 8 o'clock position is Bisu and Teal. Man, this is going to be spectacular. Although I have a very important announcement to make. After this series, I will no longer be casting Brood War. I'm going to move all of my efforts over to StarCraft 2 commentaries. Late April Fools! Okay, let's do it. So Jaedong is scouting in the wrong direction, up to the 12 o'clock. Fortress is a very strange map. The reason it's called Fortress, of course, is because it has those mechanical walls between the top corners, well, in the bottom corner, too, bases. So you have to actually force your way through to mine the minerals on the other side with a worker, because there's no other way to get by other than a drop. So it's kind of like Plasma in that sense, I guess. Or I guess there have been some other maps like Plasma where you had to force your way through by mining minerals on the other side of an obstacle. But Plasma is the one I remember the most because that's I think it's still one of my favorite maps, even though it was highly imbalanced. Kind of a terrible map. It was just so much fun to watch games on that map with the neutral eggs everywhere, neutral lurker eggs. But Jaedong scouting up here. I think he saw the probe, but he decides he might be out to scout, or maybe he went for a late scout. But Jaedong going up there just to make sure he doesn't see anything up at that 12 o'clock position. And now Bisu is going to try to deny the hatchery as long as he can. Up here, and Jaedong is actually moving out with his drone. Very strange play from Jaedong, but looks like he's going to take his second base at a further out location, thinking that Bisu would run back with his probe to deny the hatchery for a little bit longer. Which was not the case. Bisu would have been late to tackle that. And of course, Bisu's legendary bastard probe going to work on those drones. And the last time I casted a Bisu versus Jaedong game, I made a comment like, I don't think anyone has ever taken down one of Jaedong's drones with a probe. And someone corrected me saying that Bisu had done that before. So he's done it before, he might do it again. Of course, being chased off by the Zerglings now, but he can run back in there with that scout later, I guess. Cannons on the way for Bisu. They will be in time. Second one's not going to be in time, but the first one will be. So as long as Bisu has some probes at the front to help out the cannon, I think he's going to be okay. But the cannon going to warp in just in time. Bisu cutting it as close as he possibly can to get out that nexus. But I don't see any other probes for Bisu. He's finally coming in with some extra probes. But Jaedong is actually working his way up here with the Zerglings, and he might be able to sneak his way by as long as he can keep away from the cannon. Of course, Bisu, knowing exactly where Jaedong is trying to run to the most further left side of that choke area, so he's keeping the probes there, making sure that the cannon will be able to attack the Zerglings if Jaedong runs by. But let's see if Bisu can keep all of his probes alive, since the cannons are actually pretty far away from the probe line. So the probes that are mining on the most western side of the minerals, I think they will be in danger, and Bisu knows that, so he's just mining from the top minerals. He transferred some of his probes over, but he's going to need some way to get rid of these Zerglings. Look at those Zerglings just waiting for probes to mine the minerals on the western side. I don't think Jaedong should push his luck too much, though. He doesn't want to. Oh, he's going for the run-by. Does the run-by inside the main. He loses one Zergling in the process, though. If he had gotten all 4 through, I would have said that Bisu would be pretty much done for. But 3, I think that Bisu can fend these back pretty easily. He already has his first Zealot out, of course. With 4 Zerglings, it would have been harder to fight back with probes, so Jaedong probably could have gotten a couple of probe kills to knock down the economy a bit of Bisu. Let's see what Jaedong is up to. The observers haven't really focused on his base since he was being so aggressive at that natural expansion. Still going for the probes. See if he can get one down. Nope, manages to run away. He's going to try to replenish the health on those Zerglings a bit and keep those Zealots occupied. And he's actually pumped some more Zerglings that are chasing towards the natural expansion of Bisu. And not to mention, this whole time, Jaedong is getting a full scout on everything inside this main. He sees the Stargate. But man, some nice micro from these guys. Fantastic micro. Oh, as soon as I say that, Jaedong loses a bunch of Zerglings at the front. But this has been some epic probe micro from Bisu. I don't think he's lost... Has he lost a single probe? Of course, he had his gas probes attacked by the Zerglings, but he's managed to run them away. Just excellent probe micro from Bisu. Fantastic. And now that he has his Dragoon in, he's going to eventually be able to get rid of these Zerglings. So Jaedong, if he's going to do something, he has to act quickly. He has to focus on a probe and take it down. I think he's only going to be able to do kill one probe if he kills any. So he's got to focus, get that done. But Bisu is sneaking around with a probe again. Trying to get in there, and Jaedong still not managing to do anything there. Trying to keep away from the Dragoon, and he's actually doing a good job by keeping Bisu inside of his main. So if he does go for an attack at the front, Bisu's troops are going to be running around. But Bisu got a scout inside the main, actually. I saw that the probe went down inside of his main. Takes out a probe. So Jaedong did manage to get a probe kill. Don't know if it was completely worth it to kill that many Zerglings in the process, but he did get a probe kill. And Bisu is upgrading his +1 attack for a Zealot speed upgrade, speed lot attack later in the game. Alright, hatcheries on the way for Jaedong. The first Corsair is coming out. There's still a Zergling in to get the scout. That Zergling's not going to be able to kill anything. It was just hanging around to see what building comes up next. But he did not manage to see that. But Bisu running around with his Corsairs. The first Scourge are out already for Jaedong, so these Corsairs are going to be pretty useless until Bisu can amass a good number of them. But I have a feeling he will. I have a feeling he's going to continue production of that Stargate, get all of those Corsairs rally pointed to the natural expansion, and get ready to send them out to do some Overlord hunting. But okay, let's check out Jaedong's build. Jaedong doesn't really have any static defense up at that 12 o'clock position. In fact, he doesn't really have anything up here at all, but Bisu running back, trying to find these Zerglings and tackle them, because that's pretty much all that Jaedong has to defend his base up here. He has speed upgraded Zerglings, but still just Zerglings. One sunken colony, but still only one sunken. So Bisu, as soon as his +1 attack kicks in, I have a feeling he's going to go for that base up there first. He already saw that it does have a weakness, so I think he will go for that as soon as he possibly can. He has some more reinforcement Zealots on the way, and he's going for that base again. He has the speed upgrade, and I have a feeling his +1 attack is going to kick in as soon as he gets up here. Doesn't have the +1 yet, but he's positioned his Zealots over here. He has the +1, so I think he's going to go for the kill soon. Oh, doing some nice harassment with his Dragoon. Very nice impromptu play from him, but Mutalisk flying out of nowhere for Jaedong, and now I think that Bisu is in full panic mode. I was going to say that was kind of a brilliant little harassment technique from Bisu, surrounding his Dragoon behind the minerals with Zealots to keep it safe from the Zerglings. Very smart. But now Bisu is in panic mode. He already had one cannon inside of his main. He was already prepared for this kind of switch because he didn't see any Hydras out. So Jaedong is going for a Mutalisk build, which is so risky, very risky in ZVP. You have to take down those Corsairs early with Scourge to make this build worth it, because if you don't take down down enough Corsairs, you're going to render your entire army useless, because all you'll have are Mutalisks, which will be splashed by the Corsairs, and it'll just be over from that point. But of course, Bisu is going to be able to do a lot here. Oh man, smart attack from Bisu. Just takes down all of those Scourge. Took down so many Scourge. Oh man, he's going for a huge attack now. He's smelling the blood in the water. He took down every single one of Jaedong's Scourge, and that could be game deciding actually, because the Mutalisks aren't going to be able to have much to do with this. They're getting splashed terribly by Bisu. He's still getting a lot of splash. And moving up to that base at the same time with these +1 upgraded Zealots. Still some nice SimCity from Jaedong to fend off most of the Zealots, but I think these sunken colonies are going to go down. Bisu flying around. There are no more sunken colonies for Jaedong at this position, but he does have a couple of mutas, but the muta's going down. Oh, only one Corsair left and one muta. 2 mutas, I think, for Jaedong, so he actually does defend somehow. I don't know how Jaedong defended that. Most Zerg players would have just gone down right there, I think, after losing that many Scourge, but somehow Jaedong is still in this, and he does have his Hydralisk in now, so he can switch into something else, which I think is very important. I don't think he should keep with the Mutalisk at all, even though he sniped so many Corsairs. I think Bisu is going for such a large ground army. He's just going to tie up Jaedong and keep him just running between his bases while he builds up his Corsairs, which I think will be just dangerous for him. But I saw an Archon actually for Bisu running around. Yeah, there is an Archon in. So sticking with mutas I don't think is the way to go, but I think that Jaedong has thought ahead. I think he knows that, and he's trying to transition into that Hydralisk build. He already has the Evolution Chamber at the front, actually getting those upgrades for ground. But Bisu has snuck a Zealot inside of that brand new base at the 12. Still that Archon around. The Archon, of course, extremely deadly against mutas because just a couple of splash hits can take down a full control group of mutas. And man, Bisu is so good at just multitasking. Look at this. He was attacking the 12 o'clock. Now he's going straight for this 1 o'clock. Killing the drones back there. Splash hits, a couple of splash hits from that Archon, but didn't attack the entire clump of mutas. So Jaedong actually did a great job of keeping his mutas fanned out to attack that Archon. That's what he's going to have to do if he's going to continue with this Mutalisk build, which I don't know if he is or not. I don't see any Hydras anywhere. So the Hydralisk Den might actually be a fake out, or it could be for lurkers, because I don't see a lot of Hydras at all. And Jaedong's still committing to all mutas. Perhaps it was his plan to switch in the Hydras, and maybe because he sniped so many Corsairs, he's like, well, maybe I can still go for this anyway. So he's actually, it's going to be so difficult to fight back this army with the Archon in play. Of course, with good enough Mutalisk micro, you can take down an Archon with just the mutas without taking splash hits. But it's so difficult to do that, very difficult, even for the pros. Of course, as a pro, you're fighting another pro who will have excellent Archon micro, knowing just when to throw in the Archon to get the splash hit. But either way, okay, Bisu moving into this natural expansion now. Sunken colonies being morphed a little late, but Bisu decide, yeah, I don't really have enough to tackle this yet. Still trying to test the water, see how many sunken colonies are there before backing off. Because of the Mutalists that are still hanging around. Actually, some nice sniping from Jaedong, just sniping Zealots wherever he can, trying to stay away from the Archons at the same time. But now Bisu has ferried some troops inside of this 12 o'clock base, which is deciding to go for this. It's ridiculous from Bisu. He's going to go for that. While he still has some troops in the middle of the map that are preparing for another attack, I think. But just Scourge everywhere, completely missing every single Corsair. Oh, a lot of Mutalisk going down from the Archon splash hits, too. And in the meantime, I didn't even notice the amount of bases that Bisu has. How does Bisu multitask like this? It blows my mind. He already has the 10 o'clock base, and he's taking another inside base right next to his main. I don't know how Bisu has kept up with this entire time, and the observers can't even keep up with Bisu's macro. They haven't even focused on his bases really at all. But Bisu going for another attack at the front. Plenty of sunken colonies here to defend, so Bisu backs off, trying to find those Mutalists again. And Jaedong, it looks, is sticking to mutas, still trying to take that air advantage with Scourge. But even if he does take down all the Corsairs, you have to deal with the Archons as well. This is just not a good situation for Jaedong to be in, not to mention he's already going to be behind on bases. So, yeah, finally switching into Hydralisk, but I think this is going to be for lurkers. I think I already saw lurker eggs right next to those Hydras, so going straight into lurkers. Yeah, to fight this back. Already has a couple lurkers at each base to defend this. He's just trying to get his economy cooking. Get everything working so we can get into Hive Tech, but it's just going to be so dangerous, so deadly. Oh man, the Scourge coming in. Scourge actually catching Bisu off guard, so Bisu is actually running back to the safety of his cannons at the 10 o'clock position. But so far, Jaedong hasn't done anything about Bisu's new bases. He hasn't done a thing, no harassment at all, just fighting back Bisu's constant aggression with lurkers. So I'm very surprised seeing as how defensive Jaedong is being, even though he's roaming around with Mutalisk. He's still not going to be able to do much with those. He's being pretty defensive, so I'm surprised he hasn't taken his 5th base. Up there, man, a lot of Scourge chasing those Corsairs around. But more High Templar out, ready to be morphed. Actually, they're probably not going to morph in the Archons. I think Bisu can sense the way this game is going. He's like, he's not going to do anything with these mutas. I have to prepare for a ground tech switch, which is happening now since, yeah, here comes Jaedong trying to move up, going to do a pincer attack of this troop in the middle. It's going to be difficult to do this, though. Fighting back all the troops. The High Templar are out of position. If the High Templar were up there, I think that Bisu would have gone for this, but they were out of position, so Bisu's got to wait for his High Templar before he goes up here. Look at this massive army from Bisu. Plus, he has the storms. He could storm over all of those lurkers. Jaedong knows that's why he's backing off, trying to maintain the middle, but Bisu, melting everything. Bisu destroying all of Jaedong's troops in the middle, and Jaedong is still only working off of 4 bases. He hasn't taken his 5th at all, even going for that kind of defensive play. A strange build from him, but the Mutalisks are still out there, still can snipe some of the Dragoons, I think, but Bisu has such a good anti-air army going now. I'm not sure if there's much that Jaedong can do. He's got to fall back to his sunken colonies, stay by his sunkens as Bisu's trying to attack at the 1 o'clock base. He's got to stay by the sunkens, use the safety of the sunkens to attack at the same time, get a nice pincer on the remainder of the troops. But Bisu, the splash damage there. Jaedong actually landing a couple of Scourge, very strategic Scourge, landing on those Corsairs, but it wasn't enough. The Corsairs are still out in the field, and Bisu is taking his 5th base. I don't know how Bisu does this. Bisu's amazing, a very amazing player. He's going to win this game, because I don't see a way that Jaedong can get the pincer attack he needs to get done. It's going to be a massive Protoss army, and he needs a good pincer attack, and I don't see a way he can do it. Not to mention he never got beyond lair tech, surprisingly enough, and considering how popular defilers are these days. He didn't get to defilers, didn't get the lair tech. So I think he's just going to be destroyed as Bisu pushes his way up. Jaedong melting from storms everywhere, perfect storms from Bisu over very large clumps of units. So yeah, there's no way that Jaedong can do it. Oh man, Bisu's going to take SKT to another Winners League final against Flash's KT Ulster. Well, Flash and Stats KT Ulster. They've both been performing so well. But there's the GG from Jaedong. God, Jaedong gave it the old college try, though. That was a Jaedong-esque play, which I can't say I've seen a lot from him recently. So it's good to see him playing at a high level again. But Bisu, God, he's so damn good. Too damn good. Bork power, people. Bork power. Well, this has been Nuke. My voice is gone, and it's time to eat pizza and get these videos put together. Man, this is going to take a long time. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. See you guys later for more videos.